It's tough, man. It's tough sledding over there. And the only good thing in Colorado right now is Deion, baby.
Oh, man. That is a fact. Let's get a grade for Deion real quick. If it's not A++, I'm going to literally cancel your feed right now, Bruce. What's your grade on Deion? Let's just get into it.
Absolutely A++. He's a beast, man. I love every video I see on him, the way his culture is, what he's feeding those young men. And he says it all the time. He's like, look, winning's not just about winning football games. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about winning in life. I want these guys to do well in school, get good grades, raise a good family, and that's what it's about. And then his resources and what he can bring around that team, it's fun to watch, man. I mean, that game the other night was fun to watch. And I mean, Sheduer, he's a beast. He's going to be a big upcoming dude if he wins the Heisman this year. Even if he doesn't, he's one in the future we're going to see on Sundays for sure, ripping up the league because he's doing a phenomenal job this year. But I'll tell you what, Hawk, their offensive coordinator, he was Kent State's head coach previously. He is an offensive mastermind. He's doing a really good job. And a little nugget for you, you know who also is over there assisting is Pat Shermer on the offensive side. So that's where I give Coach Prime, a lot of credit, man. He surrounded himself with good coaches, but in his leadership style, his energy, the way he comes across, man, it's great for that team, and it's great for Boulder, Colorado, baby.
Juju, are you still on the primetime hype train?
Man, I'm on the prime time. I'm the conductor of the prime time hype train. Like, bro, how can you look at them and don't like anything going on over there? If you don't like what's going on in Boulder, Colorado, come here to announce, sir, you are a hater. You, ma'am, are a hater. I heard people on the show this morning going so far as to saying, why is prime time on 60 Minutes? 60 Minutes to be doing sports. You got to go to 60 Minutes to hate on prime time. You need to look yourself in the mirror and wake up. Splash some water on yourself because it's ugly. It's disgusting. It is phenomenal what's going on. And the game, oh, my God. I'm up at 3 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning watching these kids. And it delivered. You feel me? So I feel like the success has already been had. I know they're going to say, oh, yeah, if he lose to Oregon or lose to USC, that shouldn't be how we grade this, even though that's how they're going to grade this. And side note, the kid who hit Travis Hunter in that game, I don't understand ejection. I'm not the NCAA purist on the rules, but how can you not get ejected for something intentionally that gets slice somebody's liver or whatever the word is? He's out for a couple of weeks. I don't understand this, but salute to Deion, salute to Sheduer. I love it all. You feel me? I love it all.
My favorite thing about Deion is that I think everybody understands, but he's turning college football over on its head. College football for athletes is such a process. I'm not even kidding. I didn't even enjoy college football. I'll be honest with you. It was not, because there's so much politics. There is so much fake. There is so much mind games. There is so and it's like this whole facade that I think the majority of college football coaches subscribe to. And even the coaches you saw that were successful in college that went to the league and quickly came back, those are the biggest culprits, because it's really hard to kind of pull that wool over pro players' eyes. And in college, it's always been taboo to be honest with players. And I don't know if I've ever seen a coach as honest as Deion. This doesn't mean he's doing all the things that I agree with. He came in and basically took the scholarships of 50 players. Typically, where I'm like, my positioning and who I am and who I've always been, I think that's wrong. Now, this is a completely different landscape with NIL, but he came out and he said, hey, I'll be honest with you, I don't think you can play here. And if you're the kind of player that hears that and says, all right, I'm leaving, then we definitely don't want you here. You know, and again, it's like there's certain, like a transparency to it that I understand it and it makes sense, but typically coaches don't come out and be honest about that. I think that's what has a lot of coaches upset, is because he's saying things and doing things that they would be, crucified for, but it's because their whole thing is like dishonesty. It's trying to create this narrative and positioning yourself as some bigger than life figure, where Deion is like, yo, I'm who I am. I'm prime time. I've always been prime time. I'm not talking any different now than I talked 30 years ago. And you're going to have to get with it or get lost. And with the success, just becomes more and more haters. But to your point, Drew, to your point, Bruce, I love it. And I think we all love it. Colorado somehow is now America's team.
It's fun to watch. Like, who doesn't wait for these games to tune into? I mean, it's the #1 game on television. It's the hottest.
Everybody was saying they stayed up. Like, I can't believe I'm staying up to watch. I didn't stay up. I went to sleep. I don't give a damn. I don't care if Obama was coaching Colorado. I'm not staying up to watch it. I got my rest. That's too late.
Come on, bro.
Hawk, this is a good question for you because you're like just good with these things. But who tries to duplicate this? How do you duplicate this? Where does college football go from here? Because this is such a he's a Hall of Famer. His persona, his presence, it's so strong and good. Like his leadership style, it's just fun to watch. But I kept thinking about that too because all the excitement he's building over there, it's kind of like what other college can get ahead of this and try it?
It's impossible. It's impossible. People will try, and it will be unsuccessful. And I'll say this before we take a quick break: Prime Time as a player was a one of one. That's why he was special. He changed the game. Everything you're seeing from athletes today came from Prime, and it's not indirect. It's directly. They're following the exact same playbook that he created from day one. And this is the kind of things you can do when you are probably the best athlete ever. There's nothing this dude couldn't do, and it's like this perfect. I always say about Michael Jordan, everything aligned for him to be Michael Jordan. Like the person who was perfectly positioned for it found the thing that he was the greatest at. And everything just kind of fell into place. I feel that way about Deion. Deion is not just being like, oh, I'm bored, so I'm going to get in the... Deion has always loved coaching. Deion has been a coach. When Deion was in the league and my older brother was a young player, he would fly the corners down to Texas so he could teach them and show them while he was playing. So being a teacher is always who he is. And this is before the pass rush boot camp that Von Miller did, or you see it all now. This is all things that Deion created. And so now you have a person with the perfect personality who understands football. And it's funny watching people laugh at him about anything as if some weird world that you can tell Deion something that he doesn't know about the game of football. This is one of the best players ever to pick up the pigskin. So you can try to duplicate it. You will fall short. Deion is one of one. And we'll see what the effects are in college football.